Hey everyone, this is Joe with Southeastern Frontiers, and today I am hiking the Little River and Cucumber Gap trails in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park near the Elkmont Campground. And today I'm hiking with my wife. The Little River and Cucumber Gap Loop Trail is an easy 6-mile loop in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park that follows along a beautiful mountain stream and passes through some deep forest. The hike starts at the Little River trailhead near Elkmont Campground and Historic District and proceeds up a gravel road along the side of the river. The Little River drains a large area of the western Smokies and was the site of major logging operations in the days before the establishment of the park. Traces of these logging operations are apparent in many places, including the well-engineered paths that this trail takes, which were former railroad lines used to remove logs. After following the river for about 2.5 miles, you come to the junction with the Cucumber Gap Trail. Cucumber Gap leaves the Little River behind and takes you over the gap into Jake's Creek drainage. Along the way, you cross a small stream and pass through some beautiful second-growth forest of Fraser magnolias, which are sometimes called cucumber trees due to their spiky fruit. And this is probably why this is called Cucumber Gap. Finally, you return to the Elkmont area along a short downhill section of the Jake's Creek Trail. All in all, this is a very easy loop trail that I highly recommend, and you should check it out. Here we are at the trailhead for the Little River Trail, and we are going to start our hike by hiking up that way. We are at Elkmont in the Historic District, where there's a bunch of old cabins and stuff. Used to be a resort here. Very cool. This trail follows along the Little River here, and it is gorgeous. Spectacular river running here. Nice wide trail. Nothing to it. The Little River is so peaceful. We've climbed quite a ways up above the river here, and the trail's flattened out some, but it's not been very steep, very gentle grade. Very nice. Well, we were looking for a bench where you're supposed to be able to rest and look at the river. We found it. Looks like a tree has fallen over top of it. So now it's a log bench on top of a log bench. Fascinating. Anyhow, the river's right out here. Looks like there's a nice swimming hole here if it was warm. It's a little cool this morning for that, probably. You may have noticed that my wife's not with me now. We got in about 1.5 miles, and she decided that was her turnaround point. She's headed back down the Little River Trail back to the car. The Cucumber Gap Trail that I'll be getting on shortly here has some roots and things, and she has a weak ankle, so she tries to avoid that sort of thing. So I'm on my own now. So pretty. Little River just doesn't quit. At 2.1 miles in, there's this gorgeous bench over these lovely waterfalls. This would be a great place to rest and have a snack if you wanted. Beautiful. The Little River Valley and most of the side valleys and the mountains around here were once all privately owned by a lumber company. When the national park was created, the land was purchased from the lumber company, but in this case they were given 5 years from 1934 to 1938 to continue harvesting lumber from here. The reason these trails are not very steep and very wide and well graded is because they used to be railroad tracks. The railroad ran through these valleys, up these trails, and that's how they hauled the lumber out. And in that period, in the mid-1930s, they clear cut all the forest around here. So all the trees you see are very young. They've only been here since 1938. And you hear stories of how there were giant trees that they removed that were too big to fit on the rail cars. Man, that'd be something to see today. I am coming up on a little bridge here over the Husky Branch Falls. And that there is Husky Branch Falls. Gorgeous. On the other side of the bridge, this is where it comes out and dumps into the Little River. Beautiful. Here is the sign for the Cucumber Gap Trail. This is where I turn around and start heading back towards Elkmont. We just came up the Little River Trail, which it's also 2.4 miles back. But I'm going to take that way back for something different. There's a warning though. Bears are active in the area. So we'll be on the lookout for that. The Cucumber Gap Trail also continues up at a nice steady, I don't know, 3% grade or so, not very steep. Here you can see where it's dug into a bank to maintain that slope. Again, it's because this used to be a rail line. So it's a very well-engineered trail made for trains to go up and down, carrying logs. So here we have a unbridged creek crossing, but it's not going to be too difficult, I don't think. Looks pretty good. This is actually the Husky Branch where we saw the falls before, down by the Little River. So I'm going to pick my way across this. Let's see if I can keep from falling in. All right, we're across that without any wet feet. Still heading uphill, but I think we're near the top to the actual gap. That Cucumber Gap is not very far in front of me now. All right, I am passing over Cucumber Gap right now. And wow, the forest is beautiful. The light shining through the leaves. It's gorgeous. What a beautiful place. All right, I am at the very summit of the gap, looking down on the other side, on the western side. And there's a gorgeous tulip poplar tree here. Holy cow. It's so big. Very nice. I see some peekaboo views of the mountain out across the way there. Probably hard to see on the camera though. These things tend to be. Uh-oh. Got some freshly down trees here. And I mean freshly down. The leaves are still green on them. So, well, there's some big vines here. I'm going to have to scramble through it. Don't see a way around. I noticed here where the tree's down that there's a bunch of vines. There are lots of them in the trees here. I see a bunch of them up in front of me here. I don't know what they are. But they're big. See them hanging there? Okay, I have come to a trail intersection. We just came down the Cucumber Gap Trail. And this here is the Jakes Creek Trail. And we are going to go back towards Jakes Creek parking. That is essentially where we are parked. So I'm going to head back that way. Back on the big wide road again. Now that I'm back in the Elkmont area, you can see the remains of cabins that used to be here when this was a resort destination before it became a national park. Here's the ruins of one of those cabins. It's quite the fireplace. Some walls. It was right along the creek here. Very cool. All right, I have essentially returned to the parking lot at Elkmont, and that was a beautiful loop around the Little River and Cucumber Gap. Just gorgeous today.